Sir.
Yeah, so about Virupaksh, he is an educator with Infosys. He has trained many freshers and experienced professionals within Infosys. And today he is here to take the session for you all. So, some general instructions to all the students. We are not recording this session, so please focus on what is being shared by the educator and ask relevant questions regarding Agile methodology. Okay. Do not post any questions related to your internship journey because tomorrow again you have another session on GitHub. Post that your internship meetings with your educator will commence. Okay. So request you all to please focus on the topic for today and ask relevant questions to the educator in an interactive mode. Okay. Do not post any points other than whatever is asked regarding the topic. Okay. So that's it from my end. I would request Virupaksh to take it forward from here.
Thank you, sir, for a warm introduction. So, everyone, welcome to the session. So, let's get started. I hope I'm audible, right? So, let's continue. So, today, let's understand what exactly Agile is, why is it needed, and how will it actually help you all when you actually get into projects, when you actually get into work, right? When you actually get into this internship thing. So, moving forward, first thing, I hope you all already might be using Springboard, right? So, I'll just share you a link of, I'll just put in a chat window the link for this Agile course that is available on Springboard, right? That's the first thing. And then let's continue, okay? And then let's continue. So I'm just sharing my screen. So this is a course that I was talking about. Okay. So now let's get back to a simple thing. Like let's get back to this notepad thing. Okay. I'm audible, right, everyone? If there's any network inconsistency or if I'm inaudible, just let me know. Yeah, I think I'm audible. Just reconnect everyone once. Okay, just reconnect. Now let's continue. Anyway, we are back at Agile. Let's continue. It won't take much time, but let's go through this journey once. Now let's understand, before we actually get into Agile, let's understand why Agile is actually needed. Okay, why Agile is actually needed. So to contemplate or to relate this to your day-to-day work life, like day-to-day life cycle. I hope you all get into your labs, right, at colleges, right, and then you perform some experiments over there, right, and then there is some step-by-step process to perform this experimentation, and then as long as, until and unless your experimentation is not complete, you'll not be it will not be awarded with marks or something like that, right? Here in the corporate scenario, it's the same. Okay, as long as the thing that is needed and then what we have delivered, okay, if they are both not matching, right, then again it is a inconsistency in the thing. So how do we get rid of this inconsistency? So to actually follow a consistent workflow from 0 to 100, to develop any software, we follow a method called as software development life cycle. Okay, it's just SDLC. Okay, it's just SDLC. Right, it's just software development life cycle. So if you are going to develop any application, you're gonna always gonna do this thing. Okay, you'll be always going through something called as life cycle. Okay. Software development life cycle. So now let's understand how exactly this is done. Okay, let's understand how exactly this is done. So there are some methods to do this. So one of them is waterfall method, then there is spiral method, then there is agile methodology. Okay, let's understand the first one of the most primitive previous methods, which is waterfall model. Okay, let's understand that method first. Okay, and then we'll switch to agile. So we'll understand the difference between what exactly, why waterfall model is not up to the current market needs, and why we actually need agile now. Okay, and why we actually need agile now. So let's get into that aspect. Okay, let me first get into waterfall model. So if you want to like do any project, or if you want to prepare something, first you should know what exactly is required, right? You should know what exactly is required clearly, and you should analyze what are the requirements. So first thing, we'll gather all the requirements that we need. Yes, as you already know, requirement analysis. Then okay, then we are going to design a solution according to these requirements. Then we'll get into coding. We'll actually develop this software using code, right? So for that reason, we'll get into coding part. We'll test it, and then finally we'll deploy it to the customer's environment or the end user, right? Whenever an app is deployed, like whenever an app is ready, we'll deploy it in the market. People will use it. There'll be people who will be getting benefited around it. There'll be market around these things too. People will be actually using it, right? There should be a feedback loop as well along with it, right? Now let's understand waterfall model once. Okay, let's understand waterfall model over here once. Now what happens here is each of these steps are sequential. It's like as long as I don't know all the requirements clearly, I'll not be able to go forward and design the outline of software. How exactly should my software be? Which tool should I use for what purpose? Which programming language should I choose, or what technique should I implement? Okay, what technique should I implement? Like, these are all the things that comes into picture, right? But as long if one of the steps is complete, then I can move into the next. Again, I can go into the next. Again, I can go into the next. So waterfall is like water is falling from one side. Okay, water is falling from one side. Water, once it has fell down. Okay, water once it's fell down, we cannot go back. We cannot take the water back to top, right? So we have to start another chain, another waterfall process. So if another waterfall process has to be started, then again we have to rework on it. So now such scenario, or the waterfall thing, right, I was talking about. Here, this thing only works if the requirements are fixed, right? Only if the requirements are fixed in the beginning, waterfall model works very fine. Everyone will be able to use it. But in today's scenario, do you see anywhere in your apps, like the same app, okay, the app that you're using today, is it same tomorrow as well? Are there no updates every single day? Right, even your WhatsApp or Telegram, every single day, are they getting any updates? Like every single day you'll be getting some update, right? Like, and compared to the size of, like compared to the, if you all think you all also play some games, right? Like PC games, PlayStation, all that. So on the update of those games, you see the size of that updates, right? They are very big, right? Compared to now you see the modern day updates. Let's say 5 years before, it would be in terms of size is very big. Nowadays the updates have shrunken down, right? So now that is when agile came into picture. So now with this we can make sure that with waterfall model we cannot quickly bring our product into the market. Okay, we cannot quickly bring our product into the market. It is not possible. Okay? We cannot develop software if there is a requirement volatility. Which means it's like Okay, no feedback loop is available.
না
That is
এখন না
also good.
জোরে
Okay, requirement availability. There is volatility. There is no fixed requirements in modern day. Every single day requirements keep changing. Right?
ঠিক আছে
Right. So and then we have to bear the cost of free work as well. Okay, we have to bear the cost of free work as well because if water has fell down, we have to restart the entire process again. So again, once we are working, again it will cost us something. Right? So waterfall model is not good for big projects neither. Like for even for small cycles, sometimes it is trouble. Okay, not trouble giving, right? So now back propagation, like all less. So you already know about waterfall model more than me, right? It's well and good, right? Now moving forward. Okay, next now let's moving forward. The next one is yes. Now we know that waterfall model is not the right fit for us. And then this session is about agile. So let's get started with agile. Okay, let's get started with agile. Let's understand what exactly agile is. Okay. So now agile, coming into agile aspect. Now let's say what exactly is agile. Okay, what exactly is agile? So now here, when we say deployment in waterfall model, we are delivering the entire application to the customer's environment. Okay, we are delivering the entire application to the customer's environment. There will be no more rework, nothing. But in agile, what we do is whenever requirements come into picture, what we do is we break down the requirements into smaller things, into smaller pieces. Okay, into smaller pieces. Into smaller pieces. Then we ask the customers. We know that these are all the features. We know that these are all the features that you want in your app. Okay. Now we ask people, like ask the customer that out of all these features, which are the most important features that you want right now? Right. That is more important. Like what are the important features that will be delivered first? Then accordingly priority level shifts. Second level priority features, third level priority features, queries, bugs, vulnerabilities, all that comes into picture. Okay, all that comes into picture. So now with this, agile is very, very helpful. Yeah, I'll explain Scrum as well. Please wait. Okay. Now with this, I can say that agile. Okay, agile is it iterative model. So now I say like I'll just run a sprint. Okay, just run a sprint, or let's say we run a weeks or a 10 days cycle in which we'll try to deliver 1 or 2 features. Okay, we'll try to deliver 1 or 2 features. Now after that, again we'll select 2 important features. Again we'll deliver in them in 10 days. So it's like frequently updating the app. Okay, you might have seen these days. This is what is happening, right? This is what is happening in modern day scenario. Every 2-3 days, you'll get an update on your apps, right? That is what is happening. Okay, that is what is happening. Okay, now with this, I can say that agile is a time boxed. Okay, it is a time boxed. So time box in the sense, in a particular amount of time, a particular task is to be accomplished. Okay, in a particular amount of time, a particular task is to be accomplished. Time box, iterative. Okay, time box, iterative approach to software delivery. Okay, software delivery, or let's say software development, right? Let it be delivery. Okay, software delivery that builds the software incrementally. Okay, that builds the software incrementally from the start of the project. So instead of delivering the entire project at once, we are delivering pieces of project. Okay, we are delivering pieces of project. So like we'll keep running iterations throughout the until and unless the software is not complete. We'll keep running iterations throughout. Okay, we'll keep running iterations throughout, and then like iteration in the sense repetition, right? You might have learned like you might be running loops in your programming, right? Iterators, right? Iterators. Like running iterations, like repetitive process, repeating the same process of delivering features to the app again and again until and unless all the features are done. Okay, that is repetitive run. Okay, like, and then every single iteration or every single repetition of this thing is an increment on is an improvement. Okay, is an improvement on the previously existing software. So newer software is an improvement on the older software, right? So that is how exactly Agile follows over here. Okay, that is what exactly Agile follows. And then time boxed means in a particular amount of time, a particular task is to be accomplished. Okay, in a particular amount of time, like you'll be having 2 hours or 3 hours, right? You have to complete some task in that amount of time. Same way. Here also every single task or every single feature that is created will have a specific deadline that needs to be completed in that particular amount of time only. Okay. Now let's compare Agile and Waterfall model. Okay. Okay, I would discourage you people from creating groups or like adding each other into some of these things. It's not a good practice actually. So then let's compare Agile and Waterfall model. The first thing, so how often we do deploy something? Okay, how often do we deploy something? So like you might have seen that, like we can say every week or every day. We like at Amazon, it's like every minute 1 or 2 deployments will happen. Okay, 1 or 2 deployments will happen. Okay, every week or every day. Like every week or every day, some of the other update will happen. But whereas in waterfall model, no, Agile and DevOps are not same. In waterfall model, it will take months or quarters. Okay, months or quarters. In a sense, what happens is, in waterfall model, we'll accumulate large number of updates. Okay, we'll accumulate large number of updates and then we'll deliver them all at once. Okay, that's why it takes months or 3 months to actually develop something or deliver something in waterfall model. Okay. Now, secondly, what kind of deployment or what is the deployment status? So even if it is a small feature that we want to change inside our app, or even if it is a new requirement that we need to implement, right, we can easily implement that thing. Okay, we can easily implement that thing. Whereas here the problem is, whatever features we have accumulated, whatever modules we have accumulated till now, either we deploy everything at once or we don't deploy anything. Okay, or we don't deploy anything. Yes, now you understood Agile. Great. Okay, now you understood Agile. So let's understand in detail. Okay, let's understand in detail. Yes. And then how quickly can you respond if there's a change in requirement? It's very quick, right? Because we have already broken down the project into smaller pieces, right? We have already broken down the project into smaller pieces, and then we can quickly go there and make the change whichever is needed. But here everything is bundled. Okay, everything is bundled. Now it becomes very difficult for us to actually make changes accordingly. We have to find the place, then make the change. Okay, we have to find the place and then make the change. So now, now let's get into the next aspect of agile. Okay, I think by now you have some basic idea of agile, right? Yeah, it's all boiled down to number of stories and all that. Right, number of stories and all that. Not even sprints. It's gonna boil down to stories and tasks. Okay, stories and tasks. That is where it's gonna. Yeah, let me go there. Okay, let me why would we rush to Jira and all that stuff? Right now, I'll go there one by one. Okay, don't worry about it. Now that we know what the value of what is the agile is, now let's understand some values of agile. Okay, some values of agile. The first one is individual and interactions. I've written differences on the board itself. We can just go through that. Okay, individual and interactions over processes and tools. Okay, the main difference between agile and waterfall is speed and time. Okay, speed and time are the two main differences between agile and waterfall model. So usually if I start with waterfall model, I start to develop something with waterfall model, it will take me minimum 6 months to 1 year to come up with a product. But in agile we do it in 3 months. But the product is not complete. Okay, the product is not complete, but product is ready with important features. That's the main difference between agile and waterfall model. Okay, now coming back to different values of agile. Okay, now coming back to the different values of agile. So the end of the day, it boils down to this. Like the team members, people who are stakeholders, people who are responsible for delivering the software, they all should interact with each other on a regular basis. Of course, when we have the right tools, when we know the process, we can easily develop software. Okay, we can easily develop software. Okay, we can easily develop software, right? But end of the day, there will be always people who will define which process best fits in this situation, which is a tool I can use to develop something like this, right? End of the day, the people in the team are more important rather than the tools that we have, processes and tools that we follow. That is more important. Okay, that's the meaning of this. Okay, then working software. Okay, working software over comprehensive documentation. Okay, working software over comprehensive documentation. So it's like documenting every single thing you're doing, but at the same time making sure you are not over documenting something. Okay, at the same time make sure you're not over documenting something. It's always at all times in all the sprints, every single task, it's always mandatory to have working version of your software always present with you, right? Rather than depending on the documentation. Right, of course, this does not mean that there should be no documentation. Okay, this does not mean that there should be no documentation. Over documenting in the sense, instead of writing code, you start writing how exactly are we going to write code, which method are we going to use, which tool we'll be using to do this. We'll not use all those tools. We'll just write that. That should not happen. Okay, that should not happen. Okay, actual work should happen. That is the thing over here. Now, of course, when we are talking about iterations over here, as and when iterations get increased, okay, the documentation will also automatically increase, right? So the documentation should be in such a way that it is only enough, okay, only enough for current iteration. So the documentation should be only relevant for what we are doing right now. Okay, that is what it means. Okay, that is what it means. Yeah, you're gonna say customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Yes, great. Let me explain that as well. It is also important. Okay, we'll go there. Yeah, wait, like why are you all rushing? Okay, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So what's the thing over here? Okay, what is the thing about this? So whatever we want to deliver and whatever the customer wants, right? Okay, it should reflect somewhere inside a contract at least, be at least a rough idea. If at all, if it is not matching, right? If it is not matching, so like you go to a shop to buy ice cream, you pay 10 rupees but you get 5 rupee ice cream. It's not good, right? It shouldn't happen. Same way, on the other side, you pay 5 rupees and you ask for 10 rupee ice cream. It's also not possible. This is also not possible. So you pay 10 rupees, you get a 10 rupee ice cream. That is what should happen over here. So if something like this, whatever we need, if it is not matching, then there will be a drift in the needs. Okay, then there will be a drift in the requirements. Then it unnecessarily results in negotiation. It should not happen. Okay, it should not happen. Okay, and it should not happen. Then next is responding to changes over following a plan. Thank you. Okay, over following a plan. So what does this mean? Okay, agile is like it can carry out as many changes as we want. Right? Agile is like it can carry out as many changes as we want. So now responding to changes in a sense whenever there is a new requirement coming in. We might already have a plan of delivering the existing items. So just to fit that new requirement, okay, just to fit that new requirement, we have to change the plan even at the highest level and even at the lowest level. Accordingly, okay, only if it is required, then we have to change the plan. If not, then there is no need to change the plan. Okay, then there is no need to change the plan.
Hey! Gula?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Okay, I'll let you know. Now let me first discuss all the things that are I was supposed to discuss in this session first, right? I know like how Infosys actually integrates agile and all, right? Let me discuss that. Okay, I know you have gone through the course. I'll not discuss all the 12 principles of Agile Manifesto. Let me start with first one. Okay, some of them will go through, right? It's like the highest priority for any team is to satisfy the customer through early. Okay, the highest priority for any team is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So what this means? So what this means is like every single team has a responsibility of delivering the software to the customer's end. But whatever we actually deliver to the customer, right? Every single thing we actually deliver to the customer, or if we are doing some project, it should be of some value to the person that we are giving to it, right? Okay, right? It should be of value to them. Okay, that's the main important thing over here. And then secondly, like you can deliver working software frequently, you can create flexible things. Okay, you can even welcome changing requirements as and when needed. But then again, we need to deliver working software frequently. frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Right? Initially, because it's the first sprint, we might take 2 to 3 months to actually come up with a skeletal version of the code. Right? The code is incomplete, but the skeleton version or the software skeleton version, how exactly it will look, the mock-ups, the previews, and all that stuff. But as the time goes by, this 3-month time will keep shrinking down. It will shrink to 2 months, it will shrink to 1 month, it will shrink to weeks. Right? That is how exactly it works. Frequently, in the sense every single day or every week, based on the fixed timings that you mention in the manifesto, according to you. Right? Frequently. Every week or every day, accordingly. And then it's like the business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Okay, daily throughout the project. So what this means is the business people and the developers who are actually responsible for delivering the software must work daily throughout the project. So you might have you all heard about something called as what should I say, update calls every morning. Okay, every morning there will be update calls. Okay, stand-up meetings, right? Stand-up meetings. Right, you have heard about it. So every single day we tell them what exactly we have done on previous day and what we are going to plan, what we are going to do today. Right? So every single day there will be collaboration. If there are any new requirements, business people conveying information in a particular team is always through face-to-face conversation. Okay, is always through face-to-face conversation. Okay, if you are in a team and if you want to convey some information to your teammate, if it's always good if you do it through face-to-face conversation. Right, interaction is always important. Then again, it's like if you give the people the environment that they need, they will always come up with the best architecture. Right? If people get what they need at the right time, they'll always do their best. Right? That is also the principle over here. So there are these principles that we can go through. Okay, that we can go through. And then again, I'll just write this one for you guys. Working software is the primary measure of progress. So at all times, it's always mandatory to have the working version of software ready with you. Okay, always mandatory to have working version of software ready with you. And then keeping things as simple as possible. Okay, to create sustainable development scenario, always depend on feedback loops. Right, these are all the principles. Okay, these are all the principles that we can go through. Technical excellence. At times, the teams have to focus on technical excellence through simplicity. Let me write it this way because it combines two principles into one. Right? Promoting sustainable development. Right? So these are some of the principles I wanted to discuss. There are others as well. You all can go through your course to get into that aspect. Okay, there are others as well. Not just one, like not just these principles. There are other principles as well. If you want, you can go through them. Right? Now, I'll explain you all the features of Agile. Okay, I'll just explain the different flavors and features of Agile. There's no complexity over here, right? Don't worry about it. Okay, or let's say different flavors of agile or different kinds of agile, right? First one is you people were asking about Scrum. So now what exactly is Scrum? Okay, now what exactly is Scrum now? Okay, Kanban and Scrum. Okay, Scrum is basically Scrum is something that is time boxed. This is why Agile is time boxed because of Scrum. Okay, Scrum is basically a time box method with different processes and ceremonies for agile software development. It's like Scrum basically contains different methods, different processes, like stand-up calls are all part of Scrum, because the stand-up calls and the update meetings are all decided by a Scrum Master, right? Scrum Master. Ceremonies are sprint cycles. Whenever there is a completion of sprint cycle, there will be a closing ceremony, and then planning of new sprints. Okay, and then planning of new sprints. That is what ceremony is. Okay, that is what ceremonies is all about. Now nowadays, hardly you never see anywhere in corporate scenario. You never see somewhere in any project that Scrum is not being implemented in the team. Scrum is always needed in development projects. Okay, Scrum is always needed in development projects. So suppose you are team. Okay, suppose you are in a team, and then 10 people of your, like you are in 10 people team, and then you decide to use Scrum to develop the software that you want to do. Now with agile approach, you'll think like we have all the requirements that we need. We'll break down the requirements into smaller pieces. Right? We'll break down the requirements into smaller pieces. Then what you think is we should, like, how should we achieve these features one by one? Right? You have to plan on achieving these features. So then you plan on achieving, like you break down this feature into smaller tasks. Okay, smaller tasks. So, and then you assign these tasks to everyone in the team. Everyone has to complete one of these tasks now. Now, once that thing is done, you come up with sprint meetings, review each other's code, combine it, then develop it. So that's when ceremonies happen. Okay, completion of sprint. Okay, that is what Scrum is all about. Okay, that is what Scrum is all about. Yes, you're right. Kanban basically focuses on visualizing your work. I'll show you a Kanban board, okay, better. Okay, I'll show you the Kanban board. That will be good enough. But let me explain what Kanban is actually, right? So the main important thing about Kanban is to visualize and prioritize what exactly is more important right now. Okay. With Kanban, the basic idea is to visualize and make sure what exactly is more important right now. Okay, we want to make sure which is more important. So it's like a method to reduce work in progress. Okay, Kanban is like a method to reduce work in progress and make sure whatever I'm trying to do, it's happening very smoothly. There are no problems in my work. Okay, there are no problems in my work. That is what Kanban does. Okay, that is what Kanban does. Now, let me give you an example on Kanban now. Okay, let me give you an example on Kanban. So now with Kanban, what happens is, Kanban mostly works like an algorithm, but again, priority list is to be decided by the team itself. Now here, coming into Kanban, let's say I have a factory, okay? I have a factory where I am manufacturing potato chips. Okay, and then if I employ Kanban in my factory, Kanban will make sure that the process that I'm using to manufacture potato chips is running smoothly. It will help me prioritize what needs to be done first and what needs to be done later accordingly. Okay, accordingly. So it forms like a entire visualization and maintenance board for me, right? It's like it can be used in maintenance of your projects. Okay, nothing is fake. Okay, yes, that's okay. It can be used in maintenance of your projects. So there will be a Kanban board like this. I'll just show you all. Okay, I'll just show you all. So I'm using Azure organizations. I have my account over here. I'll just show you a board. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Kanban is framework. Scrum is framework. Extreme programming is a framework. Lean is a framework. So everything is more likely a framework. So you can see this is what a Kanban board looks like. Okay, this is what a Kanban board looks like. Whatever are the new items that will be present in the new item section. Whatever are active, okay, whatever are active that will be present here. Then if it is resolved, it will stay in resolved until the testing is completed. Okay, it will stay in resolved until the testing is completed. Once testing is done, we'll close it. Okay, once testing is done, we'll close it. This is what a Kanban board looks like. So, and accordingly, I've added one more task over here. Right, each Kanban work item or each user story that is present in Kanban will have subtasks like this. I can close them, I can just move them accordingly. So this is the way to do it. Okay, this is a way to do it. So then again, if you get into Jira as well, this is how exactly Jira works. This is how exactly Jira works. Okay, let's come back. Next is extreme programming. The name is nice, but right, let me explain. So extreme programming is a method which contains different smaller methods. Okay, it contains different smaller methods which help us in developing a very high quality software. Okay, which help us in developing a very high quality software in a short amount of time. Right, that's the main idea of extreme programming. Okay, that's the main idea of extreme programming. So here we use different methods like here we use different methods like test-driven development, pair programming, refactoring, continuous integration. So there are many different practices, not just one. Based on the requirement, we use those practices accordingly. So I'll just explain test-driven development, refactoring and all that. I'll just explain these four and then we'll move along, okay? And then we'll move forward. So test-driven development is like first writing a failing test case, okay? First writing a failing test case. Okay, like writing a failing test case. It's like we'll write a test case that will fail and then we'll write enough code to make sure that test case passes. So this way, what happens is we only have enough code that is needed in this scenario. There is no extra code that is written anywhere. Right? If I want to develop any particular feature, so then I'll write when I select that feature, I'll write the test cases like how exactly is this feature going to fail. I'll think about that scenario. Okay, I'll write something like a small scenario and then I'll write a scenario where and then I'll think about how exactly this feature is going to get success. Right, this way what happens end of the day is with test-driven development, I only know that end of the day I only need the code that I want. I don't have anything extra in my code. Okay, TDD is test-driven development. Okay, it's just test-driven development. Let me go there one by one. Okay, test-driven development. So there are different programming languages have different frameworks for test-driven development. So then, like for Java, you have JUnit, Python, you have PyTest. Okay, JavaScript, you have Jasmine, right? Mockito, Jasmine, many things. Okay, then coming into you are asking about continuous integration, right? I told you all, right, when it comes to agile, we are gonna break down this big project into smaller pieces, right? Right? Continuous integration is a process of combining all those smaller pieces. Okay, continuous integration is a process of combining all those smaller pieces. That is what continuous integration is. That is what CI is all about. I'll just write this as well. Okay, continuous integration. Yeah, CI/CD pipeline is a rough idea. Okay, it's not always mandatory. Like one day you'll always create CI/CD pipeline. DevOps is better. Okay, because I'm a DevOps engineer, so I'll just say DevOps is better. But for DevOps, the base is still agile. Okay, we have to know agile whenever we get into DevOps. Now coming into pair programming. Okay, it's like two developers working on the same machine. Okay, it's like two developers working on the same machine. Okay, working on the same machine. Then one developer just writes the code that is complete and compilable. Other developer tests the code and verifies if the code is correct or not. Right? That is what pair programming is all about. And then refactoring is like a method. Okay, refactoring is like a method of making the structure of the code better by not affecting the behavior of the code. Okay, making the code more modular, more scalable, more adaptable. Right? That is what refactoring is all about. Okay, that is what refactoring is all about. Then there is lean methodology. Yes, improving the existing code. Because as time passes by, the same code that we have here today, the frameworks gets older, newer version of software comes into picture. Right? We have to update on that, all that thing. Right? So solid principles and all I'll not discuss. It's enough. This much of agile is enough for today. Right? What exactly is lean now? Yeah, you have to use these things in your software internship, or if you are gonna develop some software in internship, you gotta do this. Okay. Now coming into lean. Now what exactly is lean? I was talking about that potato chip factory, right? Right, we're delivering the values. How do we deliver values on potato chips? Let's understand that thing. So when I get like my manufacturing part is done, okay, I want to pack my chips. Now I have to take care of quality over here. Okay, I have to take care of quality over here. I have to make sure that the chips that are broken, chips that are burnt, chips that are half baked, okay, chips that are not coated correctly, such chips should not go into packaging. Okay, such chips should not go into packaging. Okay, such chips should not go into packaging. So the same way, while you are delivering the software to the customer, you should not have code that is broken, code that is incomplete, code that is non-functional, right? All such things should not be present inside your code. Okay, all such things should not be present inside your code. But again, while we talk about lean, it's always better if I like attendance part. I don't know. So Vinay sir will take care of it. But the last thing, let's talk about lean. Like lean always comes on always comes around a scenario where in a factory environment. Okay, always comes in a scenario where in a factory environment. people today still whenever there are factories, people still implement lean methodology on a regular basis. Okay, it's like used in manufacturing environments. Let's say, to eliminate waste from our workflow. Okay, to eliminate waste from our workflow. Okay, so that is all from my end. Okay, that's all from my end for today. Okay, don't worry about the attendance, it will be taken care. So here you have sprints, we can create our own sprints, as many sprints as I want. It's up to me. I am in current sprint, I can create many work items over here. All that stuff I can do. Okay, all that stuff. So if you have any doubts regarding Agile, let me know. If not, we are done. Okay. Okay, sprint is the cycle, is the time, or it's let's say it's a week, 1 week's time. Okay. Let's say it's a 1 week's time. Okay. We deliver one particular amount of iteration or one particular sprint. So each sprint can have their own each sprint can have their own level of tasks, all that stuff. Okay, all that stuff. Yeah, I'll send this file to you all. Okay. So the Scrum Master is the person, okay, who is responsible for making sure the people like the development teams, the infrastructure team, the operational team, all these people are able to work together collaboratively. For that purpose, Scrum Master comes into picture. Scrum Master basically carries the tasks between different teams. Okay, make sure they are able to collaborate with each other very correctly. Okay. So the difference between Scrum and Kanban is that Scrum is more about work related, Kanban is more about maintenance related. Okay, Scrum is more about which task are we going to do today, what are the process we are going to follow to do this, to complete this task. Whereas Kanban is like what is the like how many tasks are required to be completed today, what is the most important task among these, right? Kanban is about that thing. No need to learn Azure DevOps platform. I just wanted to show you the bolts. Okay, that's why. Okay, I just wanted to show you the Agile bolts over there. That's the reason. Okay. I'll send this file to Vinay sir. He'll send it to you. Okay, don't worry about it. The file I'll send it to Vinay sir. It will be given to you. Okay, it will be given to you. Because there are so many questions, it's done. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen here. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen here and then I'll let Vinay sir do next. Okay. Hi sir, we are done with today's content.
Thank you for taking this session and for your time. I hope this will be useful for the students. And additionally, the mentors during your internship also, you can ask them if you have any queries or any concerns regarding it. They will also additionally guide you on how to proceed further. Okay. So I think that we come to an end of this session.
Vinay sir, your voice is echoing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's echoing, repeating.
Okay. Okay, is it still echoing?
Yeah, it's still echoing.
Okay. Anyway, if you share, we can close this meeting. You will receive meeting link for tomorrow on this session called GitHub. Sorry for the echo from my end. I don't know what is the concern.
Okay, everyone. So tomorrow again, I'll be the educator for you. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss why GitHub is needed. Okay, how exactly you can store your code in GitHub, have access to it. All that we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. The attendance part will be taken care by Vinay, sir. Thank you all.